Tune in to Uncensored BS.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Farquad, and we are finally back from a 2 to 3 hiatus on another episode of Uncensored BS. And I'm not gonna get too much into why it's been a hiatus, but I'll probably make another content regarding that. But that's not why we're here. We are here today because we have a special guest who is a friend of mine who I should have been having a podcast with before, and he is one of a good friend of mine. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind me, I introduce to you. He goes by many names. He goes by Zodiac. He goes by GataMeLiga. He goes by Chip. He goes by Ed. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome him into this podcast. Yeah, woo!
What's going on, man?
What's going on, brother? How you doing today?
Oh man, just another day. Blessed. There's no better feeling than to wake up with a purpose. So
I am with you on that. Uh, you know what I'm saying? Like nowadays, people just wake up just to wake up and to have
hmm
not a meaningful purpose. You know, the wake up, get money, come back home, sleep type of routine. So you're
hmm
on a good path.
absolutely.
So speaking on good paths, it has been a long journey for the both of us, and I'm pretty sure you have been through a very crazy journey, and I'm
Oh
so glad
yeah.
that we are finally sitting down here, and if you're all right with it, spill your beans, man. What's been going on? How like you as far as for most people that don't know, you made music, but besides
hmm
your passion for cars, um,
hmm
and just passion for the well-being of current humanity right now, especially in the United States. Um, but like I said, we'll get into that bit by bit. First of all, I do want to ask
hmm
you to let the viewers know, like, for those that don't know you, just, let them know who you are, what you're about, what you stand for. And you mentioned purpose earlier. What is your main purpose in life?
Well, I've like you said, I've gone by many names. I've done music. I've done YouTube. I really haven't done much outside of that other than just being who I am. It's kind of weird sitting here a couple years later because for a while there when we've done episodes in the past, I'm sure you know this, and I don't even know if you remember, but previous episodes that we've probably done in the past,
Oh,
I've
I
asked you to
remember.
take yeah, I've asked you to take down because there was somebody in the audience that just wasn't comfortable listening to a lot of the stuff that I had to say. But of course, like I don't care at this point. I'll air out whatever I want. But other than that, man, it's I've done music. I still do music. In fact, since we last spoken, I've learned to play the guitar. So there's that. Um, when it comes to
Yeah,
like doing YouTube and videos like that, I still do it. I just don't have the same passion for that like I used to. Working on cars, that's been my main focus because it's kind of like my therapy right now. Which is just turning wrenches and like you said, right?
right.
When you wake up and you feel like you have a purpose, God gave me this talent of being able to work on vehicles and have a lot of knowledge on it. So I feel like that's just my purpose in life is just to continue pursuing that. So right now it's been crazy. It's an expensive hobby, so I mean, of course, I gotta
Hell yeah.
work my
Cars
ass
ain't
off.
cheap at all these days. I don't blame
Yeah. So it's a lot more expensive than it used to be. That's for sure. But got to go to work, pay my bills, and then
you. No, we all.
yeah, and then after that we focus on the hobby, right?
Of
So
course. And some people, how do I say it? Some people nowadays, man, like bro, you still have found something like relevant and productive for yourself to do despite of, you losing, like, not losing the passion, but the passion for being a content creator has has it went
Mhm.
away for you? Is it still, or is there still, what is it, a chance that you will ever, tune in back into that? Or is this like right now, as far as you, being a little, not a little, but being a mechanic as your hobby, and like, is that something that you just want to pretty much do in your own time? Or like, is there something else that you want to, like, how do I say it, produce as far as being a content creator?
I still want to do create content. I was supposed to release an album this summer. That's of course been delayed. My buddy's been he's the guy who was gonna mix my entire album. He's been away doing stuff in the army, and he's kind of hard to get a hold of at the moment.
Oh, he's
He
serving
told
the
me just to
country. Oh man.
yeah, so he's out doing stuff for the military, big and high respects to people in the military. So
Yeah. High
I'm gonna
respect.
let him do his thing. We've worked together for years, and I have a lot of songs written up and ready to go. It's just I haven't. I don't think that with um the current space at the moment that my amateur mixing skills is going to suffice this go around. I think that um Tori's been a great friend of mine who's his music is amazing. His style of mixing is awesome, and I've worked with him in the past, and we've done two great songs together. So I'm just
Shout
waiting
out
on
to Tori.
him. Big shout out to him, Tori Yamaguchi on Apple Music, Spotify. He's also having trouble with his distributor as well, which is another big reason why um, a lot of my songs can't come out right now is because I'm going on his behalf, so to speak. So I have to wait on that to get straightened away. In terms of creating content on YouTube and video wise, I would love to share with the world all the knowledge and me working on my vehicles and stuff. In fact, if you go to my YouTube channel now, you'll see that I don't really post long form content a lot anymore, and that's because the current space is different. You kind of
It
have to
is.
adapt. Yeah, you have to adapt to the space, and excuse me, it's very difficult to adapt to it because I'm not used to it. I'm not used to recording, 30-second videos and trying to cram all
All of that
this
into one
information.
reel just to provide
Yeah,
a lot of information. Yeah, I don't blame
exactly.
you. And it's honestly a different time of, like, of content creating, because when we were in high school, content creating was like Vine stars, um,
hmm Like
YouTubers.
7 seconds long, and that
Exactly.
was new. It was so
Right.
new to us back in the day, right? And it's like, oh yeah, Vine was mainly like 7 seconds of funnies, and then YouTube is where you would go to see like your
The
entertainment,
full
like
length
your
entertainment, correct.
exactly. And then now it's completely the opposite. People get entertained with this. If they don't get the point of the video within the first 5-10 seconds, they just scroll right past you. And that's the problem with my current channel at the moment is that I put in so much effort into a video that's not even 15 minutes long. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, editing a video that's 15 minutes long, it doesn't kill me, but if I edit a video for 15 minutes, it takes me 3.5 hours to put that video together. On
Thank
top
you.
of the fact
Let
that
yo
yeah,
yo 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 yo. Let these people know.
it
Let these people know how difficult it is to be a video editor in general. Because
is it's difficult. It's not
my
easy.
right, and you said a 15-minute video takes 3 hours. Imagine
It
how
takes three
long
hours.
mine takes. My
Yeah,
my podcasts are normally range of 45 minutes to like an hour and a half. And you can
yeah. I can't imagine that.
I swear to you, and like every video episode I have done, if I don't have free time all that day, I will not be like, I'll only be able to get so much done. And
hmm
like that length of a video takes me about like a pretty much an 8 to 10 hour shift, literally. Like,
Yeah,
just
it's
make sure
it's
everything is
it's
perfected
tough.
to the like to each of its atom. yeah, then
Mm,
I'm not gonna get that shit done in like one day, or if I could get it done in one day if I have free time. But
mm,
a lot of these people, man,
right.
a lot of these young generation people, they have it so lucky. They got CapCut. They have like all these video, like these clip making softwares that all they have to do is just put in a long video. Like for example, with my podcast, I put in like a clip, or not a clip, but like a long full video, and it literally breaks each and every conversations down into different reels, regarding
Mm,
what's being discussed. And like, you don't even have the video edit anymore. But me, I'm still sticking to the traditional roots because at the end of the day, um, AI video editing is not always going to be the way because they're going to give you
yeah.
exactly what you want. And as a
Yeah, and that's the part that I'm struggling with currently is like I said, adapting to this newfound space where people don't really like long form content, and unless you sit there and you manage to clip a funny part of your video or an important informative bit of your video in a 15-second form, and then you add a link below like, hey, if you want to see the full length video, it's down here. I'm still kind of new to that, so to answer your question, it's I want to continue doing content creation. I love doing content creation. It's just how in the world am I supposed to adapt? I feel like I'm already so far behind because the current generation, they don't care. If you don't grab their attention
they do not.
within 10, 15 seconds, they don't care about you. You're irrelevant. And it's already hard enough being a small content creator as it is. It's even more difficult so now because if people don't capture your personality within 15 seconds, you're not gonna really get anywhere. You're
No,
just you're just spinning. You're spinning wheels. It's you're not going anywhere. And especially when you're in a niche category of being an automotive content creator, like I said, the being an automotive enthusiast is already an expensive hobby. When you're coming into a video content space, people automatically assume you're made of money and that you're going to make these crazy ass builds like, for example, if I still had my R32, like a big turbo RB25 R32, and I'm like, I'm just not financially built for that. All I can do is really small stuff, like for instance, recently I put a carbon fiber hood on my car, and I
no,
thought that was gonna be a good enough, 5-10 second video. Hey, I put a carbon fiber hood on my car, and it only got 100 views. So it blows my mind. I'm like, I don't know where I should go anymore, and it's getting to a point where now I'm getting in touch with other content creator friends of mine, and they're trying to give me advice on what to do. And some things work, some things don't. And I've always been an advocate of I'm going to take advice from every corner that I can take. And then once I had gathered
implement them
advice from
in
everybody
like the best of
in
your
my way,
right.
yeah. So like I mix it and make it my own. Because there's no point in, for example, me trying to be, and this is the mistake I made before in my past, which is I was trying to be like that dude in blue. And it's like people watch him because he's that dude in blue. People watch me because I'm GataMeLiga. We're two completely different people. Right. And that's the identity crisis that I had as a content creator. Sooner in that sort of era of my content creation, I found my sort of niche, which is like just be yourself, record a vlog style because that's what everybody was doing back in the day, and record it and just be yourself. Don't try and force yourself to be something or someone that you're not. And that's why I keep it super real. I record my downs, I record my ups, I talk about my downs, I talk about my ups because that's life. A lot of content creators they just focus on the highlights, and I'm like, I'm never that kind of person. And again, that's the issue. It's like if I have to do that still being myself and cram it into 15 seconds, I don't know if people vibe with that, so
No,
I'm really still experimenting with that. But like I said, to answer your question, is the drive to create content, it's there. The drive to create music, it's there. I have songs written currently right now. It's just I have to, when it comes to the music side, I have to wait on somebody to professionally mix, or to not professionally, but to mix my stuff to where it sounds quality enough for me, or quality enough for most people. In terms of my YouTube, it's I just have to find what works with the current space and era of short form content, mixing in with long form content. So instead of making one 10-minute long video every week, I might make one 10-minute long video every month. And then in between, I have little spurts of shorts. You know what I mean? Or TikToks or
Yeah,
whatever. It's
you know, it's crazy you said that because that's what a lot of like that's what other like how do I say it, like content creators around our age that are like more serious on doing, perfecting certain arts and crafts of their own. Um,
Mhm.
Most of them, they do these like this 1 to 3 hour podcast interviews, and they literally talk about a bunch of stuff, and that's where they like, use those
Mhm.
same exact softwares to like create clips of different topics that were discussed about, or just
Mhm.
pretty much a clip of you giving your opinion on certain topics. It could be world events, it could be in the music scene, it could be anything with like your favorite car make is now switching to just basic
Mhm.
like stuff like that, because then like how do I say it, there's billions of people in this world, and I'm pretty sure from at least 1 to 3 billion people on this planet have access to the internet. And
Mhm.
nowadays people are now aware, and when you mentioned about like folks trying to make like a, how do I say it, a highlight video in like 10 minutes, or like or cramming it into 30-second reels. I will say this: a lot of those people go in the mindset of just, I just want to get big right away. Like,
Mhm.
don't realize that in order for you to get to that certain point in life, or in like as a content creator, you have to be consistent. And it could be
Yeah.
within your own pace. It could be, like you said, making a 10-minute video every month, and then just pretty much, making short clips of you, or what you were discussing about, what you were explaining, so that way people are remaining engaged into this. And
Mhm.
me doing this podcast, I have learned that along the way, especially in my 2 to 3 year hiatus. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, I'm not gonna talk much about that because, like I said, I'm gonna make that in a separate video. Um,
Mhm.
but like as far as in that hiatus, bro, I like literally learned, like, I had to learn on how to keep a balance between my personal life and the content creating life, the podcasting. And I have realized that, like, you just, no matter how much uh you know most of our schedules are busy, I still feel like it's best for me to make time for me to do that, because in those times I wasn't doing podcasting. I was actually in a very, like I said, long story short, I was just not in a good place mentally, and I just had to figure things out along the way. So, finally now I'm here talking to you, and
Mhm.
honestly, I've cut out.
I guess we both, yeah, we both kind of had that going on, because even in my YouTube, if you look at my channel, there's a video I made called I think it's like I'm back or something. It's like a very short title. Um, it's like a 15-minute video explaining that, hey, I fell off the face of the earth for a couple years, and here's why, and then now that life is sort of getting back in order. I'm not gonna say my life is perfect, because it's not. But
Hey, I'm with
there's
you
just
on that, brother.
there's more time to think about that now, right? It's not. I spent freaking 2 years of my life, of these four, locked in. I'm talking like no Instagram on my phone, no Snapchat on my phone, no types of social media installed on my cell phone. And I was just like, I'm going to work, I'm putting the work in, When I get home, I'm going to do my devotionals. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to change my lifestyle. But obviously, work sort of superseded everything, and that's not important. But what's important is that I took the time to work on that, because I knew that if I were to come out and try and rush back into things, like go back into content creation, or try and do that at the same time, it just wouldn't work. I wouldn't have time to focus on what works and what doesn't, on top of the crazy stuff that was happening in my personal life. And that's a really good thing that you mentioned. There is a stark difference between the person you see online and then the person that you might meet in person. So when it comes to content creators, like when I met TJ Hunt, this is a perfect example. TJ was a great guy, but he was a dick. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. He
You
was
Jay Hunt, right?
pompous. Yeah, he's this big automotive YouTuber now, but when I met him in person in 2016, I thought he was gonna be this really humble, really outgoing guy who he was on camera. And then when I met him in person, it was completely different. He was big headed. He just thought he was too good for everybody else. There was also a girl involved. I'm not gonna get into that, but he was just out there doing that. Out of all of the content creators and YouTubers that I have met, he's at the top of my shit list. Excuse my language, because he's the prime example of what not to be, right? And it's like, I guess when you have that sort of um, fake persona where it's like you want people to see you a certain way online, but you're completely different as a person. Like, I don't like that. So when my personal life starts to get crazy, to where, for example, you could come up and talk to me in person, and we both know each other, you won't know the difference. But if somebody were to come up to me and say, "Look, I watch your videos," and then I talk to them as if I were to talk to you, but online, I'm trying to push that everything is good and blah blah blah, but then I might accidentally say something that I don't necessarily mean to somebody who enjoys my content. It's gonna make me look bad. So I don't try to mix the two. It's like, if I'm not ready to do my YouTube at the best of my ability, being 100% um, real and authentic to the person that I am in real life, I'm just not going to do it at all. So that's why I was gone for so long, because I was like, I don't want to push myself to do something I really don't want to do right now. It's not my main focus. It's not my main goal at the moment. And it was a good thing that I did that too, because on the other side of the spectrum, we have artists on, like, Chris Rudnick, Ricer Miata, right? Met him. Dude was a goofball. He was like, everything that you saw on camera was everything you got in real life. It was awesome.
Wow.
Evan Shanks took me by surprise when I met him, and he was there in Ocean City. When he saw that how TJ was behaving, because they were both at the same spaces that I was in, like, we were all rolling together, and he would be open to me, and he would talk to me like as if he was my friend, and that's something I completely did not expect from him. And then obviously to years later down the line, I hit him up and I'm like, "Yo, Evan, I don't know if you remember me, but I see that you have a turbo for sale. I want to buy it." And he hit me up instantly and was like, "Yeah, dude, I remember you and this forth." You see, like, that's content creator I want to be. And if I'm not ready to be that content creator, especially in this space, I'm just not going to do it, because people are so quick to judge, and you have to be like so perfect. Like, and like I said, in the automotive space, it's so different, because people want you to have like 1,000 horsepower Supra. Like, if you don't have 1,000 horsepower in your car, they're not gonna want you. They don't care. If you don't own like 1,000 horsepower BMW, they don't freaking care. It's like, dude, my Civic, it got a lot of views back in the day, doesn't get shit now. That's cool. Like, I don't care. I don't do this for you. I do it for me, right? So it's just the space itself is so different. So, but yeah, I mean, I took the hiatus just like you did, just to kind of gather my bearings, and then now that I'm sort of fresh in the head, or fresher than I was, my life is in order somewhat. I'm more inclined to get a little bit more back into the space. I'm still dealing with it. I'm still like trying to figure out, hey, what works, what doesn't. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to put like a freaking fat ass turbo on my cars and blow them up because I don't have money to fix it. I'm not as lucky as the bigger YouTubers. And that's what I'm up against. It's not like a gamer, for example. I could be a gaming YouTube channel if I really want, because I know I have good personality. I know I have a kick-ass PC setup. I can seriously take over the space right now if I want to, but I don't want to do that because gaming is something I don't want to do as a job. Gaming was always a pastime for me. And being an automotive YouTuber, it's not like it's a job. I mean, I love it. I enjoy it. It's a hobby. But it's like if I'm gonna click the record button just to try and please people, I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. And a lot of people, they want you to press the record button and show them, hey, I'm building this piece of crap, for example, piece of crap Mazda that I found in the back of a barn somewhere in Everett, Washington, and I'm going to make it into a 500 horsepower monster. And I'm sitting there like, whoa, 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 whoa. I can't do that in a week. I'm not a big YouTuber. I don't have the facilities there, big man. But someday we'll get there. Like I'm working on it. I just spent a huge amount of money on a lot of parts for the car. And I know it's an investment that I'm going to make, but I'm like, you guys don't know what's happening in the background. Like people don't know that I have a choice to make with that car. I have to axe a vehicle from my fleet in order to make that car like stick around. If I put that car together and I don't like it, I don't like how it is, if it doesn't perform to my expectations, I'm getting rid of it because I don't have an emotional connection to that car or the other one that I'm putting it up against. But I'm putting apples to apples. I'm like, they're both literally the same car in my mind. Now, if one car outperforms the other in some categories, one of them is going to have to go because I have too many cars. And I want to focus on getting, my R32 back. That's one of my big projects that I'm working on now. So I'm like, I have a lot of drive for the future of my channel, to get back into it. And once I get back into the flow of it, once I figure out who likes what, and because at the end of the day, it's going to happen. Like I'm going to get the car back, whether it's on camera or not. Like I said, even if I take a hiatus now, right, for my mental sanity, if I just don't record anything at all, everything that I'm saying right now is going to happen. I'm still going to build the Mazda the way I want to. I'm still going to put it up against another car that I have. And if they both, and one of them's going to have to go. It's like, if I don't have space for two four-door sedans in my mind, I don't, not right now, because they both cost me an insane amount of money, and I'd rather just deal with one headache than two. So,
Of course.
and that money that I could use to fund my next goal is huge. And that's, for me personally, that's why I enjoy recording it, because I'm not doing it for the viewer. I'm doing it for me. And you're just here to watch. You know what I mean? If you want to watch, great. And that's what content creation should be. And if there's any advice that I can give you right now, it's like, do podcasts because you want to.
Because I want
do podcasts because it fills your heart.
And that's exactly what I was just about to say. In that hiatus, bro, I had to realize who and what I was doing this for. All along, I like was not naive, but I was oblivious to the fact that I was doing this for me. And the reason why you know, things went sideways from, me doing the podcast is because it's not that I lost the drive. It's really more so like, how long, like, am I doing this too much? Like, am I, like, why am I feeling like I don't have the passion for this anymore? Like, do I take a break or? So, like I said, in that break, I realized that the whole time, the reason why I was having that issue was because I was worried about challenging others rather than challenging myself. And the only person that we should even be in competition with, and that's what I learned in the hiatus, is myself. I'm in competition with myself.
Absolutely.
You're in competition with you, and this is why you are slowly but definitely getting to, the point in life where you still want to do this, and you're very
Absolutely.
adamant on it as well. As much
Hmm.
as I'm adamant on doing uncensored BS. And mind you, this podcast has been going on since 2021, and we are
Hmm.
literally at the end of 2025. And
Right.
honestly,
Right.
like, I,
I've been at this for 10 years, dude. My channel
right,
turned 10 in September. That's the crazy part. It's like, what did I
yeah,
do these 10 years? You know? And it's like, did I, and looking back, it's like you said, you want to outperform yourself. As a, with my faith and everything, and as a Christian, I've come to terms with the fact that I've been trying to compare my life and compare everything that I do to other people, and that's just not right. Because in my faith, it's not something you do. That's something that God frowns upon. It's like you are your own person. God molds you to be a certain way for His glory. So you have to go forth and be the best version of yourself, because that's what He commands you to do. Right? He's like, He has a plan for you, and you have to follow that plan. The plan He has for example, the plan He has for you is not the same plan that He has for me, right?
right.
So I have to chase um, goals and aspirations in life to better whatever I'm doing. If, for example, and I had a really bad habit of doing this, I would compare my life to Adam LZ's life. And for people who don't know on this podcast, Adam LZ I've watched him like way back in the day when he was still like riding bikes, and then he became an automotive YouTuber, and now he's like competing for the championship in Formula Drift. Dude's a well-known figure now in the space, and I try to compare my life to his, and I'm like even to the point where I was like, oh, I'm gonna move to Florida, you know what I mean, and be that guy. I'm gonna be just like him, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. Looking back at it now, I sound ridiculous because like that's who I used to be, and you can't do that, and it took like you said, it took a break for you, and it took a break for me to realize like, look, um especially what I went through way back a couple years ago. It's like me trying to be like Adam LZ. It's not gonna happen, bro.
No, because
It's not meant
everybody's
for
path
me.
is different. And
Yeah, it's like it's
what
not meant for me. I have to be Ed. I have to be Chip. I have to be Zodiac. I have to be GataMeLiga. I have to be that guy, not
you have to be Elvis
some.
Presley. Remember that.
So it's yeah, it's the one goal in my life now. It's to, just like you, how do I outdo myself? For the longest time, I've been trying to build up this that sort of mentality, because during my hiatus I was like, I'm going to lock in, and I'm going to prove to myself that I was not the problem. I'm going to prove to myself that I can freaking do this, that I can make my dreams come true, that I can move to Vegas under my conditions, under everything that I've worked for and everything that I stood for. And like, I get a little bit animated saying this stuff because it's unreal. Like God is so good that like you could tell, like, when looking back at it now, I was like, I can tell it was His will. It was His work that made me get to where I am today. Because it's like I was supposed to move to Florida, but like during COVID, it just didn't turn out that way. Now I'm going to Vegas because that's where God called me to be. I'm in Las Vegas now. I have a beautiful house. My family is here. All of my cars are here. I have,
That's dope.
beautiful weather and great friends here. And it's awesome. And it's like, wow, like I outdid myself. Like if I look back at myself from 2, 3, 4 years ago, even, I was sitting on top of a parking deck ready to freaking jump, dude. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that.
Right.
And to look back at it now, I'm like, I'm proud of it. I'm grateful. I'm so thankful, because it's like
Grateful
these
that
are
you
the
didn't pull the
aspirations.
trigger. Right.
Yeah, it's like these are the aspirations anyone should have. It's how can you outdo yourself? For example, I may be sitting in this beautiful house with my family now, but I'm like, you see, that's small picture thinking. I gotta expand the artwork that God is laying out for me. I gotta put the paintbrush is outside of the frame, and I got to keep going outwards because like this house is the start. You know what I mean? Like I got a business plan I'm putting together now. I'm going to build a business. Like I said, I have so many goals and aspirations because I want to outdo me. I can use Adam LZ as an inspiration, as sort of like I want to be as successful as him, but I don't want to be him. You know what I mean? I want to one day have a property where I can slide my cars around without a care in the world. But it doesn't mean that I have to do it in Florida, right beside him, right next door to him, driving the same cars as him. Absolutely not. You know what I mean? Like you just got to go out and do your thing and just keep outdoing yourself
So,
because
not other
you're
people.
the best competition that you got because fucking
Exactly.
Adam LZ don't care about me. You know what I mean? Like for example, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan don't give a shit about you.
He don't
If
give
you
a
want to be like Joe Rogan,
none of us.
yeah,
But
it's like, bro, I want to be your podcast. Like I want to be as big as Joe Rogan. Like that's cool, but you're not Joe Rogan. You know, like you gotta outdo yourself. Like, hey man, if you have an episode with a good guest or whatever, for example, and it blows up or whatever, dude, bring that guest on again and just outdo yourself or whatever. There's so many things that you can do. Like for me in the automotive space, there's so many automotive content creators um, that are here that I wasn't aware about. There's a lot of shops that I know now via the connections I have through my job. And believe it or not, one of them is in close touch with the performance shop I worked for in California, and we made great conversation off the fact that we both knew the owner of that shop in California was a coke addict, you know, and he was he was just a terrible guy to work with. And I was like, it was insane to have this conversation with him because I was like, dude, I used to work for him and he was a pain in the butt. And he's like, imagine what he was like to work with as a business partner. And I was like, that is insane. So it's like, it's a small world. And like I said, man, it's just great. It's like everything is coming full circle in my life right now. To where like, wow, like I'm actually being able to pick up from where I left off back in 2021. You know, like it ain't over. You know, when I thought it was over back then and I was sitting on the roof of that parking deck, I thought it was over. I thought I was like, there was no way I'm gonna come back from this. And God is good, man. God is great. That's all I'm gonna say. God is great.
and from that moment to now, it seems like that you have done a lot of self-reflection within yourself. And
Absolutely.
also, from the sounds of it, you have you're finally starting to like come clean with yourself, and also realizing that no matter how much wrong things have been done to you by people that you thought were for you, you still manage to stay true to yourself and keep going, just keep doing good, keep being good. And
Mm-hmm.
as far as worrying about other people, you've realized that that's not really gonna, you know, that's not really gonna elevate you to get you to where you want to be in life. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, honestly, it takes a lot of, what is that, mental strength for one person to actually swallow that and come to an acceptance that we are not built to be perfect people. We were built
Mm-hmm.
to make mistakes. We were built to, you can say it in many ways, like we're built to fuck up. We're built to do right. We're built to be happy. We're built to be sad. Like, if
Mm-hmm.
you're too much of like a happy person, then like, you know, that's just a whole different spectrum of being emotionally unavailable. And then when you're too sad all the time, it's like, a
Mm-hmm.
whole different level of being emotionally unavailable. Like either one can lead you to one thing, and that's suicide. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Honestly,
It's
go ahead.
no, go ahead, man. First you were saying.
I was saying that, you know, going to that route, it it like getting out of that headspace, it when you get out of that headspace, you're a lot when you're mentally strong, you're a lot stronger than, you know, people glorify as strength, which is like physical. I think if you're mentally
Yeah.
strong, you can do anything in this life. Anything. Doesn't matter
Listen,
if it takes you 20 years, 30 years, 59 years, 69 years, no pun intended. Um, you know, you can, so long as
yeah.
your, how do I say it, your drive is still there, your passion is still there, you're continuing to do what you want to do, but at the same time, it's like, how do I say it? Some people like to do it because it's a hobby. Some people like to do it because it brings warmth to their heart, body. It like brings some sort of what is it?
Peace.
Peace. Exactly. See,
Yeah.
you hit that
It's
thing.
that's just it. I mean, I haven't really spoken about this publicly. I've mostly shared this testimony with a lot of my friends. People the people I've spoken with, some of them had a misconception of why I decided to go that route way back in the day, right?
Right.
Um, and I'll explain to your audience that people deal with things differently. Like you might deal with some things differently. I might deal with some. At the end of the day, we're all human, and a lot of people just don't understand or know who they're talking to. When you're dealing with something so serious, like I've had my time wasted in relationships ever since I was in high school. Like all it took was for me to cheat on one person, for me to get cheated on every single fucking girl that I was with. Like I got cheated on all throughout my entire life, except for the last person I was with that I know of, right? And when you're just so exhausted emotionally when you're so passionate about having that companionship. And like I said, I don't really talk about this much, but um when I was ready to invest 100% of my energy into this one person, and I was ready to commit my life to them because we were engaged and we were getting ready to be married and everything, and I sold my dream car for her and everything. Like I uprooted my entire life and went to California for her. And bless her heart, bless her soul. I pray for her every day, not because you know I stop feelings for her. It's just it's written in the Bible. It's like you got to pray for the people that speak badly on your name,
Yeah.
regardless.
Agreed.
And when it got to that point where we had our differences, and I decided it was best for me to come home. I came home to I didn't have my house anymore. I didn't have lived in that the apartment complex that we lived in, and I think God did this on purpose. Was for me to be stronger about this. The amount of times I went to the wrong door, like I was in unit 4472, and then we lived in 464 before I left to go to California. So I found myself twice going to 464 on accident.
Hmm.
Um, I parked in the same parking spot. I would drive up to that. You remember where I used to live? Drive up that
Oh,
parking
I
deck,
know.
and
Yeah,
and,
that
and I would
beautiful
park.
parking garage. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then I would park in the same spot, and it's like Civic, Passat, no Skyline, no Prius, and it broke my heart every time I walked through that door. Until eventually I became numb to it. But you know, um, one night, I really struggled with a drinking problem. I don't talk about this a lot, but I struggle with a drinking problem. I wasn't out getting blackout drunk every night, that's for sure, but I found myself relying on alcohol to go through the motions. I wasn't going to church. I was just sort of, down in the dumps and everything. One night, I came home from work, and my friend was like, hey, like let's go hang out. Went hang out with him. I think we had Korean barbecue or something. Drove home, drove up the parking deck, and I just sat there. And like I will never forget this night. Like I was just sitting there, doom scrolling on my phone, looking at pictures and memories and everything. And at the time, it was a really rough time for me because I was like, where did life go? And I remember what triggered it too is that um, I was trying to budget my expenses because I'm a big financial guy, right? So I like to I budget myself, I take care of
That's
myself, and
good.
I looked at my credit card statements, and bro, I had hardly made a dent. I went from being to having almost $10,000 in my savings to having nothing. Like I was living paycheck to paycheck, and any money I did make was going back to my credit cards that I owed $17,000 on, like in total. I think I had like 12,000 on one and 5,000 on the other.
Yes.
And now I'm not gonna say they were maxed out, but it's like when you're in survival mode in California, dude, you do anything to prevent yourself from sinking. And I thank goodness that my parents taught me how to be financially savvy to not let myself get to a point where it gets out of control. But I looked at it and I was like, dude, like this is gonna take me more than 5 years to pay off if this keeps going the way it's going. Something has to change. But then I kept going through these scenarios in my mind, dude, and it ate me. Um, I don't know. I didn't think about this. Like it was a really surreal feeling. Like, and that's what people don't understand is that when you're pushed to that limit, you don't think. You really don't.
Nope.
And I just remember putting the car in first gear. It was like 2 in the morning. I slowly crept up the parking deck all the way to the last floor. And they closed the last floor, by the way, I think shortly after this. Was just driving all the way up to the very last level, parked my car. I sat on the hood there for a minute. And again, I was just thinking like just flashbacks, everything going through my head. And um, I remember texting my good friend Justin. I was like, yo, dude, brother, just want to let you know, like, I love you, dog, and everything. And um, I had already like written my goodbyes and everything on a piece of paper. And then I had people don't know this, but I wrote my personal note in a song. So it's actually still up now. If you go to my YouTube channel and even go on my SoundCloud, called Kate's Song. If you listen to it very, very closely, you can tell like where I was in that moment in life because that song is sort of to be it's kind of a double entendre in like just as a whole because it's supposed to compare my struggles with the struggles that this character in a video game called Kate went through in the story of this video game that I really liked playing. And she got pushed to the point where she's on a roof and she's ready to go. And when I played the game, I couldn't save her. And it's a game of choices. Some people saved her, some people didn't. And I was part of the people the people that didn't save her because why? I didn't listen. And people weren't listening to me, right? So I was like, I'm not gonna be able to financially recover from this. My family, I disappointed them. I disappointed the one person that I truly loved and gave everything. Um, I don't know what my purpose is anymore. I don't have money to work on my cars. I don't have money to buy a house anymore. Life is over. All right, and then that's exaggerative thinking, but that's just where I am in my head in this moment. Um, it sucks having to relive this because I'm so embarrassed by it. But
Don't be.
yeah,
Do not be.
eventually,
You know that.
long story short, you know, I met a stranger who was smoking weed on a little perch. It was like right beside the elevator. If you climb the wall over, on your left hand side, there was a little roof for the air conditioning units, and it was right behind the elevator. And those kids, I guess, climbed the wall and jumped down to have a little smoke session. And these two guys, one of them knew my buddy David. The other one, he was a complete stranger to me. But they talked me down, and they were like, "Yeah, no, it's cool, whatever." One of them was just like super friendly. He gave me a hug and everything. Talked like for hours, dude. It's crazy. Um, and sort of put like a stop to it. And like he followed me on Instagram, and like we stayed in touch for quite a while after this. And all of a sudden, dude, I swear to you, I wish I was making this up. And this is why I shared my testimony with everybody. All of a sudden, poof, gone. Never heard from him again. I can't find his Instagram page. I can't find anything about him.
You think
Like
that was
not
an angel?
even the dude. I'm convinced. I'm convinced it was an angel sent by God. I tried to talk to the other guy, and he told me the same thing. He was like, "Yeah, like last time we spoke was like maybe a year after all that happened, and then he's just gone." It's like he didn't even tell me where he was going. So I don't know. You can leave that up to coincidences or speculation for people who don't understand the work of God or anything like that. But personally, for me, is wild. But um, when you get pushed to that point, you don't think about things. You don't think logically. You literally spiral out of control. And then what I didn't know was no, my story doesn't end yet. And that's why I still have the song up because, I talked to a lot of my friends about it. I said, dude, you should probably take it down if that's what it was. I'm like, no, because it's like I said, it's a double entendre. People will understand if they know about it, but then the people who don't, who are just complete strangers, will think, oh, I'm referring to a character in a video game, right?
But no, that
But
happened in real life.
now that you know,
Strange.
now that your audience knows, it's like you can draw parallels, and it's insane. Like, and when I hear that song, I am reminded of like, look at where you were, like listen to where you were,
It was a story.
and yeah, it drives you, dude. It's unfortunately a lot of people don't make it out of that. And that's the unfortunate part about it, is that people are led to believe that that is the only choice that they can make. And in that moment, I felt it was the only choice that I could make, and they don't make it. They don't come back from it. And they're not able to share a story like mine, for instance. I've lost a lot of friends, like motorcycle accidents and everything. I've never, thank God, I've never had an instant where one of my close friends had to call me and say like, "Yo, like, I love you like a brother," and then like the next day they're gone. Like I've dealt with a friend, not close enough to really call him my friend, but my friend Brian, rest his soul, he hung himself, and it was tough because we had mutual friends. Um, and I never understood until it happened to me, right? You don't, when somebody comes up to you and talks to you, like whenever I have a brother come up to me and say like, "Yo, like I had a shitty day, man." I'm like, "Talk to me about it." Oh, and I don't want to burden you with that. I'm like, "Please do." Because what I would have given to had somebody who was emotionally available to answer a call, that could be the difference maker. That's why, like, I after that day, I don't block people. My significant other that I had back then, believe it or not, we talked. We talked a couple weeks before I closed on my house, completely by accident. And
You're
my buddy
talking
Justin's like,
about recently, like when you first
recently. This is
your
this is this was a couple months ago.
moved to
Vegas, yeah.
Vegas. What the?
Yeah, so truth be told, on that, I accidentally texted her father. It's kind of funny how that works because his name and the name of the manager that I worked with at the station level, their names sounded very similar.
Oh,
Like like for example, John Doe, right?
Yes.
Like John Doe is the station manager, but Jon Snow is her father, right? So imagine me like on the road. I have my earbuds in, and I'm like, "Hey Siri, text
Yes.
Jon Snow," or I'm sorry, text John Doe, right? I'm meaning to send this message to John Doe, the station manager, because I got business to talk to him about. And then she texts Jon Snow because they sound similar. All of this business talk, bro, gets sent to her father.
That's crazy.
And he hits me back, dude. He hits me back. And like usually John Doe in this instance would hit me back instantly. He'd be like, I got you, bro. Copy that or whatever. Or just even a thumbs up. But then he didn't text me back for a fat minute. And I was like, why didn't I get a text back? And I look at my phone and I'm like, oh no. I just opened up a can of worms I don't think I was ready for. And he hit me back right as I was gonna respond. I said, look, I'm sorry, I did this accident. He hit me back. He was like, hey man, good to hear from you. You know, hope all is well. Whatever. Right. Just real nice man chat, you know? And like for the longest time I thought this dude hated my guts. Because I will never forget the day he sent me a message on Facebook and he was like, you know, don't be talking about my daughter on social media or whatever. You know, and I'm like, you know, I'll say whatever I want on social media. You know, if you got a problem with that, block me, bro.
First
You
of
know, anyways,
I
this, again,
go ahead.
that
Yeah.
was back then. But you know, to see his reaction now, it warmed my heart because I was like, damn, like I for real thought I was a problem. You know, for him to think about me in that way is real nice. And I didn't mention this, but she after everything happened, bro, I found out that she was struggling with a huge drug addiction. And Matt, like, look at the bullet I dodged, bro. Like I said, man, God is when God wants something to work a certain way, bro. That's what He meant to do.
Yes.
You know, like that was His plan. And like when I found out she struggled with a major drug addiction, I'm talking like ketamine and all these strong drugs, dude, cocaine, all kinds of stuff. It broke my heart because I was like, I have never in my life thought that you'd be that kind of person. But it was wild. And then I re-download Instagram to document my Vegas trip that I was literally going here on vacation with a friend of mine, and she had hit me back, or not back, excuse me. She had hit me on the DMs talking about the text message conversation I had with her father, and I was like, oh wow, like it's good to hear from you. Hope everything's okay, dude. When I say that, like, not only did she struggle with her addictions, she lost everything. She lost her car. She lost her cats. She lost the guy that she was with at the time. She was still struggling with her addictions, still drinking, right? Had to tuck tail and move back to Seattle with her parents, and it all came full circle for her. You know, like I said, I don't wish anything bad on anybody who's done wrong to me, but when the Bible says, you know, don't avenge, always just leave that to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So take that as you would, as you wish, right? If that was God's way of avenging stuff for me, whatever, I'll take it. But she started like watching my stories, and I'm posting shit like, I'm here in Vegas, I'm having fun, I got my female friend with me, you know,
So
whatever.
that secret person who keeps watching your stories that you even called them out on the story about,
Oh,
that
I'll
was
get to that. I'll get to that.
okay. All right.
Yeah. So then I'll try and make this really short, but
Huh.
everything was good, bro. I swear to you, like it was nice hearing from her. We had apologized for each other's wrongdoings, and I thought that was that. I stopped responding after a while because you know, like you don't, like I said, that's why I don't block people because I want to give them that opportunity. If she calls me right now, bro, I swear to you, I'd pick up the phone and I'd be like, "What's good? Like, what's up?" Because that's being Christ-like. You know, and that's the person that I want to be. I don't want to be vengeful. I don't want to be angry at someone. You know, yeah, sure, they did me wrong. They changed my whole life. I'm not gonna lie. I still struggle with a lot of the stuff that I struggled with before to this day. But at the end of the day, when you're taught to act a certain way in my faith, you have to be Christ-like. Like, what would Jesus do? Literally. When she reached out to me, I was like, yeah, like, it's cool. Like, we don't have to be friends. We don't have to always keep in touch with one another. But at least we know that we can let bygones be bygones. You know what I mean?
Right.
Literally, couple days after I closed on my house, because she was watching my stories throughout this entire time. I closed on my house. I'm on the way to Virginia to help my parents pack up, and then I was on the way across the country to Vegas. She hits me up out of nowhere, talking about, like, you mistreated my cats, you did this, you did that, you're a terrible human being, and I'm talking cursing my name up and down. And I'm shocked. I'm hurt, right? And I told her straight up, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I've made mistakes. I didn't mistreat her cats, not by any means of the word. I
Right.
was just trying to discipline it. Because, like, you can discipline a dog. Like, I discipline time, but you can't discipline a cat. And I learned this, like, well into the relationship. So I learned how to treat her cats differently. In fact, when we were separated and she was living with her friend and I was living with myself, I was the sole person taking care of her cats, and her cats loved me, because I knew how to treat them differently. I understood them after that. But anyways, so she blames the fact that she lost her cats, and she blames the fact that her black cat doesn't like men. She blamed that on me. And I'm like, dude, you were in an abusive relationship with somebody else after me. Don't shift the blame on somebody who, one, did not mistreat your cats, did not cause you to lose one of your cats, but two, who is a completely different person. Completely different. I am no longer the person that I was when you met me. I'm completely different. And you are making these judgment calls based off the fact that
Based off
that's
of
who I
who
was.
I was and not
Yeah,
who I am now.
exactly. It's like I'm a whole different man now.
It's just
And
showing
and
you
it felt
though that her even saying all that stuff, it's just
it was
hasn't
wild, dude.
she just hasn't. She still misses you.
Yeah, it was crazy.
She
It was insane.
and
I
honestly,
just
bro, at that point, you just have like you know what to do. I don't have to tell you this.
mhm.
You're already like, look, I'm gonna respond back to you in the name of Christ. I'm not doing this
Absolutely.
because I want to rekindle things. Like that is out
Yeah.
of the picture. But
Absolutely. And that's like, believe it or not, that's exactly what I told her. I told her straight up. I said, I will pray for you. You know, I hope that you find peace, with whatever is going on in your life. Um, I just, like I said, I hope you can forgive me for my wrongdoings. I have already forgiven you for everything that you've done for me, or to me, excuse me. And it felt so powerful to just be like, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong in your way of thinking. However, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I yelled at your cats. I'm sorry that I shooed them away from the room. Look, I'm man enough to even admit that. I'm sorry I put sticky tape in places I didn't want them to go. But that's apparently mistreatment. So I'm like, look, I'm sorry I try to discipline an animal that needs to be disciplined completely different than a dog. That's what I'm used to, right? And today, right? Fast forward to today. I hope she's well. I don't keep up with the Joneses. I just after that conversation, I locked in. I was like, bye. Like, it is what
yeah,
it is.
no, it is what it
Um,
is. Leave that
uh-huh.
this time.
My life goes on. I still have struggles. Our anniversary just passed. Her birthday just passed, and it's 2 months back to back. Do I struggle with that? Yes, but that is the human side of me. Like I said, I was about to marry this woman, so it's
It
different.
means a lot.
I've been single. Yeah, I've been single for almost 4 years. She's been with 2 other guys since me, which is fine. Make your own conclusions. But somewhere in the internet, I did read a meme that said, you always know who did what to who, depending on who gets in a relationship first. Right? You always know who did who wrong, depending on who ran to another arms first.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say, because it showed completely, right? I choose to be single. In fact, I've gone out there and I've tried to date. Dude, it ain't hitting right, bro.
I don't.
It ain't.
It's
I'm like,
like
I'm trying to find me a wife. You feel me? Like a Christ fearing woman who is a little older than me, who is into traditional values, who, you know what I'm saying? Who
hey, boy, we love older women on this side, shit.
Yeah, dude. Like, I shout out to my older women, man. Cause damn, like, anyways, so like, it's just that's attractive to me, bro. Like, to go to church with your wife, to see an old couple go to church. I'm like, that's what I would love to have. I'm not comparing, but I'm just saying, God, if that's what's meant for me, then I want that. I want my woman, my old lady come. Look, hey, get up. It's time to go to church. Hey, get up. I made you breakfast. Hey, you know, don't worry about doing your laundry. I did it for you. Or
Right.
I tell her, hey, look, I just got a job offer out of state. We got to move. And she doesn't question it. She's just like, all right, let me know. I'll call the U-Haul. What do you want me to do? I'll call the U-Haul people. You know, I want that, right? And like that's to me wifey material. So meanwhile, while I'm being patient, letting God work his magic, she gets together with another gentleman. God bless him as well. Pray for him too. Literally, I get a notification on my Instagram that he liked one of my photos.
What?
Whether he did this on accident or not, because I don't see the like anymore on that post, but he probably did it on accident. But I saw it,
He did
and
not,
I was like,
but he was lurking through.
I was like, oh, word. I was like, word. So you got hands looking at me now? Like, that's cool, dude. I'm not out here trying to measure dick sizes or nothing, bro. You know, it's at the end of the day, it's like, look, if you are purposely searching my name, because you got to do that on Instagram. You don't just find people. If you are purposely searching my name, he even listened to my music, bro. By the way, shout out SoundCloud Pro, bro. Anyways, SoundCloud notified me of the location in the last 7 days of where most of my music was listened to. I can see when you listen to my music. I can see when Junior listens to my music. I can see that. And then I had a mysterious user with the same name that he had. He listened to all of my songs. All of them, including the one I made with her. All of them. Over 15 times. Over 15 effing times.
This man's had so much time in it.
This man,
listen to your whole music.
This man is gritting his teeth, bro. He's gritting his teeth. And that's cool. That's all right. Like I said, God bless him. I pray for his health. You know, I'll even say now, God, please make their relationship last. Bless their relationship. Bless her. Bless him. Help both of them find Jesus. You know, because that's what they need. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
What I need, right? After all of that hardship, and I just really want to preface this whole conversation about suicide and everything with this. I didn't kill myself over a woman, or I didn't nearly kill myself over a woman. don't ever get it twisted. And that's what I constantly have to tell people. I nearly killed myself because I was literally struggling with the issues that was going on in my heart, in my mind, in my soul. It was literally that's the devil. I know I sound like real Southern when I say that. Devil. That's what the devil wants. He wants to fuck with your soul to get to that point. And faith over everything. Thank God. It's everybody has a story. I have a story. I'm not a saint. Yeah, I'm a Christian. Yeah, I cuss. Yeah, I sin too.
Hey, we all do,
But
right?
yeah, we are all sinners, okay? But at the end of the day, it's like life is better with Christ than with some woman who don't give a damn about you, who don't value who you are, that don't want to wake up with you and say, let's go to church, who don't want to wake up and say, baby, I read this in the Bible today. I just wanted to share it with you. Who don't wake up saying, baby, I know you're not happy here. And it breaks my heart knowing that you're not happy. Can you please tell me what we need to do in order for you to be happy? I want you to be happy. Like, is that too much to ask for? No.
Not at all.
And that's the thing. That's it. That's my only gripe with that. Because relationships and friends, they come and go. It's nothing to kill yourself over. You know what I'm saying? And I will openly say that. However, when it comes to me, it is an embarrassment. I am ashamed. I beg for forgiveness every dang Sunday for even thinking that that was the solution. Because God has a plan for me. He has a plan for you. He has a plan for whoever's listening to this. He has a plan. It's just, he never says no. He just says, not yet. He's not the God of more. He's the God of much more. Meaning, like, I may have lost that beautiful house in Germantown, Maryland. But big dog, God bless me and my family with an even better house. And sure, took what, 5 years? Has it been 5 years? 4 years. Took 4 years. Took 4 years. But sometimes that's what it takes, man. That's what it takes. You got to put the work in. You took a hiatus for 2-3 years. I took a hiatus for 2-3 years. Sometimes that's just what's got to happen. And there is more to life than just focusing on that unfortunate speed bump. And mind you, there's a lot more details to this, to my testimony, that I can share in another episode, because I don't want to take up all the episode on this. But
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
there's a lot to my testimony that people don't know. But the more I get into about it, the more people will realize that what I say is true. Because when I ask God, what do you want me to do? Show me a sign. And he gives me a sign 5 minutes later. Literally, somebody had to almost die. I shit you not. For me to realize I had to do something. So it was the best decision I ever made. Moving to Montana was the best decision I ever made. Moving to Vegas was the best decision I ever made. And guess what? All of that would not be possible. All of this would not have happened if it weren't for that relationship. Am I right?
Very correct.
I wouldn't have met my boss, right, that I still work with, if I didn't have that relationship. So, but at the end of the day, it's not because of her that I'm here. It's because God made it so. I had to learn the hard way on some aspects, like living in sin. I'm not supposed to be living with my significant other married. I'm not supposed to be having, I'm not supposed to be having sex outside of marriage, right?
I ain't either.
And these are all these are all things, right? These are all things that as a Christian that we understand that like we make a mistake. We all sin. But that's the beauty of it. Like I repent. I've asked God to forgive me for all that entire time that I was living in sin. And he points the finger at me and he says, I told you. But through your obedience, here are your blessings. Need I say more? Because when he tells me to jump, I'm not going to say, sure. I'm going to say, how high? Right? So when he literally commanded me, and when I say commanded, I don't mean that he directly told me. He indirectly told me, you need to leave. You need to toss Jonah from your boat. Otherwise, your boat will sink. I tossed Jonah from my boat. I made it to my destination. Some people will toss, because in the Bible there's a story, some people will toss cargo, precious cargo, money, assets, friends, family. I've lost so many friends, dude, because of her. So many. And bags, important stuff. Like you can make comparisons. Like in the Bible, it says people started tossing random things overboard. But those could be used as a metaphor as like, what did you throw away? You probably threw away your house, your car, your hard-earned money
Right.
away. When Jonah was sitting at the bottom of the boat, chilling, sleeping on a hay bale, and when you finally realize what the hell the problem is, it's too late. You already tossed your cargo overboard. But if you toss him early enough to where the boat won't sink, yeah, sure, you're gonna get to where you need to go without food. You're gonna get to where you need to go without your clothes. But at least you got there. You're gonna get there skinny, starving, thirsty, cold because you don't got your clothes on.
Right.
But you made it. And that's the comparison I make, is because my ship may be tore up. There's no wind that'll be able to take those sails, but through God, I made it. That ship is one board away from sinking, or was one board away from sinking. And yet he said, no, when I told you that the problem was sitting at the bottom of your boat and you tossed him overboard, I promised you I would calm the seas. Dude, I paid that credit card debt I spoke of. I paid that off in 1 year.
Wow.
Bless God. The events leading up to the sale, the purchasing of my home, everything lined up perfectly. In fact, I had a deadline. May 25th was my deadline because Trump was not giving FHA loans to work permit holders like myself anymore. And I asked my loan officer, I said, hey man, I have until May 25th to close on this house. This was April 29th, I think. I was like, what is the likelihood of us being able to close in the next few weeks? He said, well, you're already approved. I think I went to Vegas end of March, beginning of April. And that we're already a couple weeks in. And he said, if we close, we can definitely close before then. Like we'll have to break records, but I think it's a good chance. And we were at the mercy of the homeowner here responding to us one time. And they were taking long, and as the days went on, it was crazy. But man, buy it through God, dude. Like Ricky told me, he was like, this is one of the fastest ever closes I have ever done in my life. This is the smoothest transaction I've ever done. It's like everything worked out. Everything. And it was so quick. 3 weeks. He said, I've never done a closing this quick and this smooth before. I've done quick closes before, like cash deals, but I've never done a full FHA finance beginning to end this quick, this smooth in my entire career. And I literally looked at him and said, well, because he did it. Through God, we did it. We closed 4 weeks before the deadline. Was it 4 weeks? I have to look back and see. It was May 7th. So 1, 2, 3. It was 3 weeks before the deadline.
Oh wow.
So we had 3 weeks to spare. So, like I said, I could sit here and talk about my testimony for hours and hours and hours, but yeah, that's. I guess we'll just wrap it up on
That's
that
bro.
subject.
That's a very very um beautiful and very inspiring story for especially those that you know. For anyone that's viewing this that is currently going through a faith crisis, rewind and listen to the story because um if I'm being very honest with you, another thing that I learned in my hiatus was my faith. And I'm a Muslim. Uh don't
Hmm.
get me wrong, I do my best to, you know, pray as much as I can. If I miss a
Hmm.
prayer, then sometimes if I have to drive to make it up, I'll do it. Otherwise, I'll just go on about my day. I stopped. Long story short, growing up, I prayed to impress my family members and
Hmm.
people in the community, and turned out that it never really worked out well. And you know, gave up getting into the religion for so long, and then during my hiatus I kind of like found my faith again. And everything that you're saying is literally like it makes so much sense to me because like mysterious things happen in your life, especially when you're locked in to a point where
Hmm.
like you won't expect it when it's gonna happen, but you know that that time is coming. And the fact that
Hmm.
3 weeks was the time for to close in on the house deal, bro, I've never heard of that. Well,
Yeah, it was wild. I haven't heard of that, and I had to, and like in the COVID days, and people were like closing a house in like record time.
right,
They forewent inspections and all that stuff. No, dude, mine was all 100 beginning to end. I'm talking like I went after the inspector. They had the house appraised. The bank had the appraised on time. And everything, like literally everything worked out. The dude who came to inspect my house, he said that I won't be able to get to your house unless it's next 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh dang, that's a bummer. Because in that time, people get their tax checks, so there's a lot of demand, right, to put down payments on houses. So he was busy. Man, he called me literally later that day. It was like, look, dude, somebody just canceled tomorrow. I just want to let you know I can go to your property tomorrow. Like, well, I'm telling you, dude. Like, when it comes to my testimony, dog, there is no, there's no way God's not real. You can't convince me. I'm sorry. You
yeah,
cannot
here you can't
convince
convince
me
me
that
God
He
is,
is not real.
yeah, God is
So
real.
when it is His will, it will be done. It's literally written in the Bible. If it is my will, it shall be done. As if you pray for something, right? If you pray, you ask, you shall receive. It may not be in the way that you want to, and it might not be in the time that you want to. You know how long I've been praying for a house? I've been praying for a house since I lost my first one. I've been praying for that. I'm like, look, man, I said I just want a house with a nice big garage, some space in the backyard so I could work on my cars, so I could like a little bit of land. I could maybe put a shop up or something. And man, didn't he do it? This prayer is like years in the making, man. Years in the making. And it took forever, but in our time, but it for him, he snapped the finger and it happened because time's not relevant to him. It's relevant to us, but it's not relevant to him. It's like, okay, I'll make it happen. No worries, right?
Right,
And it's incredible the things that he can do through the power of faith, prayer, uh, you know, making sure that you keep your end of the bargain because people misunderstand. It's like yeah, there's not some magical being in the sky that just makes stuff appear out of thin air, dude.
no,
It's not how it works. You gotta do your part. So when these doors start to open up. Like, for example, when that Montana door opened up, I wasn't sure. If I should take that offer or not. It was a good offer. And I was like, let me pray about it. I swear to God, prayed about it. Got a sermon that Sunday that was about embracing change. I was on my way. I was in my truck. I was on my way to my first stop. I'm not joking. Listening to this sermon in my earbuds. I pull up to the house, my very first stop. There's a blue Ferrari with Montana tags sitting right in front of that house. And I was like, I got to go to Montana. Like, I got to go. Right? And the rest is history, ain't it? I mean, look at where I am. It's like,
It
you
all
gotta,
paid off, bro. You followed the path.
there's, people don't see that because they just think it's just a coincidence. He just can't make stuff appear to thin air. You're right. He doesn't. But it's like, he kind of leaves breadcrumbs for you, in many different ways. Maybe people, that little random person that you meet at the supermarket, they might tell you some shit. Like they might spit some real gangsta shit in your ear.
You better listen.
Yeah, like they'll be spitting some hard shit.
Yeah.
Or that cashier,
Always.
that'll spit some hard shit, and you sit there, you're like, damn, like that's everything I needed to hear. That I'm sorry, that wasn't the person, man. That's God speaking through that person to you. And in that moment, he used Pastor Claudio, and he used whoever owned that Ferrari, because I never saw that. And I did that route. I did that route every damn day, bro.
You're like,
But
man,
bro, I needed to see that. I needed to go through that, and I was just like flabbergasted. I was like, all right, looks like we're going. And then I flew up to Montana, and then I flew back because I went to go meet up with my boss. We signed paperwork, whatever, and dude, I made a lot of money, I'm not gonna lie. And believe it or not, recently he asked me to go back again for even more money.
wow.
Crazy amount of money. I'm talking 6 figures.
Oh,
and I kid you not, and I prayed about it. I told him, I said, I'm gonna pray about this. I prayed about it. And won't you believe it? That Sunday, Pastor Jabin, I'll never forget when he said this. He said, you cannot let money be the idol in your life. And my favorite Bible verse in the Bible, 1 John 5:21, beware, my children, stay away from idols. Immediately, I got my answer. I was like, because he said, there's no amount of money that will make you any more loving, any more Christian, and whatever. And I was like, damn, like he is spitting hard facts right now. So I was like, nope. Called him back. I was like, yo, boss, I'm sorry, man. Gonna have to turn you down. I turned down more money than I've ever made in my life. But that's because it's not God's plan. It's not his plan. And like I told you, he's the God of much more. So just because I let that offer go by the wayside, that doesn't mean there ain't going to be another offer in the future that's going to be even more.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh, I get.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, so now that I'm putting this, like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I'm putting this business plan together. Right in front of me. I got it right in front of me. There's so much paperwork in front of me right now. It's not even funny. This business plan I'm putting together. And if it works, if I open up this business and it works, I'm going to make more money potentially than he could ever offer me. Ever. And I'm talking in a realistic sense, right? I'm not talking about being a millionaire. Hell no. But
no, right.
It's the perfect foundation for where I need to be. Yeah, sure, everybody wants to be a millionaire and stuff, but you got to have a plan for that. And
plan, execute.
Yeah, man.
Either you pass or fail it, and even if you do fail it, you learn from your mistakes.
And you do it. You don't do it for yourself. You do it for yourself, but you do it for his glory. And that's the one thing that I learned is that you got to stop doing stuff to please other people. You got number one. You got to do it for yourself. You got to do it because you feel it's right in your heart.
Exactly.
Number two, Steve Harvey said one of the strongest things I've ever heard him say, and he's a Christian too. Find what you are gifted at, and God will make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. Steve Harvey's story is a very inspiring story. He came from rags to riches, literally. He's not perfect. I'm not going to say he's a saint because he's not. But when you hear his story, when he talks about how he was in the bathroom, bro, he was showering in the bathroom of a hotel, and he had to hide in the stalls when somebody came in, all soaped up from head to toe, and he had to run into a stall because somebody was coming into the bathroom, and he would cry in that stall because he didn't have a place to sleep, right? I'm fortunate enough to not be in that situation. But he said himself, he said, I found what I was gifted at. God gave me a gift of being able to entertain people and make people laugh. And through him, for his glory, I'm doing what I'm doing today, right? And it's like I hope, and this is what I pray for, that I'm fortunate enough to find that talent and use that talent to get me to unimaginable heights, to the point where I can give back to my community, because that's what's most important to me. I love Vegas. Vegas is my home. I'm not homesick. I don't ever feel the need to go back to DC ever. Um, but like finding like my church, for example, awesome church, one of the best churches I've ever been to. It actually beat McLean Bible Church. I gave my to Christ at McLean Bible Church in Northern Virginia. It even beats McLean Bible Church, and that's saying a lot. Like, I want to give back to that church. I want to be able to give back to God's house and being like, I want to be able to, like, when Pastor Jamin was crying up on the stage today, he was like, we're having a miracle offering day at the end of November, and he wants to put up a baptism pool, and he started crying on stage, and he was like, I hate it when God talks to me in the middle of a sermon. And he's like, I feel the need that I got to do it. He's putting 50 grand. He said, I'm putting 50 on it. I'll put 50 on it. I'll put 50 on that pool. Feel to give any way you want to give. I want to be able to be that guy that just like hands him a check. Here, for your church. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just that we are taught to do that. It's not like it's not like a cult, it's not like, but tithing is what it's called in the Bible. Tithing is part of it. I started tithing 3 weeks ago, I want to say, and it feels good. I don't think about it. It is quite a bit of money. It's a little chunk of my paycheck, but God's giving back tenfold. Like, look, like my boss called me and offered me a remote job instead. The little bit of extra money that he's giving me is literally the same amount of money I was making in Montana in combination with my day job. So I literally am making the same amount of money that I was making up there while still being happy down here. So I'm so grateful. Like, when you give, you receive back double. It's literally written in the Bible.
Especially if it's in the
So
name of God and it's for the.
yeah, absolutely. It's all glory to Him. My business is gonna be called 521 Industries because of 1 John 5:21, and it's been a dream of mine to do all of this, my business, everything, in His glory. If God blesses me with a facility, you bet your ass I'm gonna have some Bible verses plastered that shit. You bet your ass I'm gonna be in there praying every morning. Through thick, through thin, through good times and bad. Because if my entire story and in my life is anything to show for it, it's that you can get through anything. You can get through it. What if you believe in God or not, it don't matter. Put the work in. You'll see.
That part I agree, man. Now, honestly, Chip, you've had a very, what is that? A story known as like a huge character development. And after hearing like how life was for you from the time that you went through like the beginning of the hardship, from when you were like struggling so much to the point where you were like just willing to end it all, to now
Hmm.
having the utmost faith in God, and now you are over here like every time an opportunity comes up, you go to God before you go to anybody. And
Absolutely.
once you and from hearing your story, sounds like that you are finally coming to when you come to peace with faith with God, then you come to peace within yourself. And
Hmm.
I really am hoping that everybody that's listening to this is like it touches their heart, because a lot of people nowadays don't really have proper faith, or that's not what is being portrayed, especially in today's uh, era of social media. Religion is
Hmm.
laughed at now, especially monotheism. I'm not
Well,
gonna get too much into that, but
to to tell you the truth, it's incredible what I'm seeing, especially after Charlie Kirk's unfortunate assassination. There's more young men that are younger, between the ages of 16 to 26, that are coming to Christ, and that's incredible because I never thought that I'd see that in my life. I thought the younger generation was doomed. I'm so serious because of what you just said. Social media is crazy. You see a lot of crazy stuff on there.
you do.
But it warms my heart that there were young men who were pissed when Charlie Kirk was shot and assassinated. Because I'll disagree with him or not, because there's a lot of stuff that I disagreed with him on. He was still a Christ follower. He feared Christ.
He was a
He
human
he he
being.
valued traditional marriages. He valued um, Christ's role in anyone's life, and that's commendable to me. That's commendable. Anything beyond that is up for debate. But the fact of the matter is this: more young men are coming to Christ. Whether it's because of him or not, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that, especially in my church, anyways, there are more teenagers and young adults coming to Christ than ever before, and that is insane. And it's such good news for me as a Christian, and because I know how difficult it is to be young, to grow up with technology, right? And mind you, the kids nowadays have it worse than we, right? Because all we had was like what, Facebook? Instagram was
Facebook,
coming out when I was still in
MySpace,
high school.
um,
Yeah, so and we didn't have computers in our hands. Like we had flip phones, dog. We had
right,
flip phones and the keyboard phone.
Nokia's, Motorola's,
Yeah, dude. Like I grew up with a Motorola Razr, so it's
LG.
yeah, it's insane to see that. And um yeah, like I would say for anyone in that age group that's struggling or whatever, there's this Bible verse that I saw today. It's in the book of Matthew. It said, "Then Jesus said, 'Come to me, all weary and carry heavy. Come to me, and I will give you rest.'" So it's inspiring to see that, to tell you the truth, because it's not. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's so uncommon to see the younger crowd reject religion, regardless of what it is. Could be Christianity, uh, could be Islam, it could be anything. But the fact of the matter is that when there's more of the younger crowd coming to a faith, it warms my heart and it gives me hope that the next generation will see and value the traditional ways that you and I know of, that you and I see in our parents, right?
Right.
Because our parents weren't perfect. My parents aren't perfect. Your parents aren't perfect. But they were raised on even stricter traditional values than we did. And even though we disagreed with it, we now see, as we get older, we see the value, and I cherished it. I was like, now I see why my parents raised me the way that they raised me. Because if they didn't, I don't know where I'd be right now. I'm glad they dragged my young ass to church because I don't know where I'd be if I didn't go.
Yeah, I'm
You know,
grateful
because
for
I
your
was
experience.
I was a messed up kid, dude. So I'm glad. I'm super glad the younger generation starting to turn things around. Still not perfect. It's not where I would like it to be. I'm pretty sure it's not anywhere near God would want it to be, but it's
It's a huge
it's
step
touching to say the
into
least.
new,
It's a huge step.
yeah, into like entering into the a different era of the new generation. Because how do I say it?
Mhm.
Long story short, everybody's finally starting to open their eyes about what's going on, and
Mhm.
like all the evil is in our faces, and a lot of people don't want to have to deal with that anymore. And now the
Mhm.
younger generation are looking to turn to God, whether if it's Christianity,
Absolutely.
whether it's Islam, whether it's any religion that is out here that believes in the name of God. And
Mhm.
for, right, knowing between right or wrong, treating others as you want to be treated, treating yourself as you want to be treated, that's the most important thing, like, of all. And
Mhm.
Chip, I'm not gonna lie, man, you kind of answered most questions that I was already gonna ask you. So, we're
Uh-huh.
we are kind of running low on time. But
It's all good.
I do
I'm sorry. I like to blab. I like to, you know what I'm saying?
No need to
My
apologize.
bad, dog.
No need to apologize at all. You're the guest over here. You gave your word. You gave your story that I really hope it's not just inspiring to me, but I hope it inspires to the viewers listening to this because honestly, this is just straight up proof that God is real. God exists.
Absolutely.
And honestly,
Absolutely.
the best way for one person to like feel less overwhelmed and less anxious about what's to come to life and what you can bring to life is to turn to God and pray. Whether you're a
Amen.
sinner, whether you're somebody that has done evil stuff, you still have the opportunity. If you get to breathe another day, another second, you have the opportunity to turn back
And you have purpose.
and find your purpose. And
And
you,
you have purpose. If God wakes you up every morning, don't get it twisted. All
right,
right? And I just want to say this before you close is this because I've said this in a room full of people before is that look, don't you could take what I had to say, but do not under any circumstance think that I'm a saint, think that I'm a pastor, think that I have the answers because I don't. I really don't.
of course.
There's plenty of other people that you can reach out to. I highly recommend going to your local church, whatever religion that is. Go to your local church. Walk through those doors, and He will change your life. I promise you that. I am just a man with a story. That's it. I am not. I struggle with sin. I struggle with difficulties. I struggle with my own vices, um, my own addictions. Not drug addictions. I'm talking like addictions to maybe gaming, to maybe too much time on YouTube, stuff like that.
Just the
Small stuff.
dopamine addictions, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I struggle with the same thing everybody struggles. I'm not a saint, but when I share my story, when people get to know who I am, in this sort of regard, you need to understand that I don't have the answer to your questions. I'm just a man with a story. That's it.
And that is what makes all of us human. And
Hmm.
to those people that think perfectionism is all that it is not. Human beings
No.
are meant to make mistakes. We are meant to learn from our mistakes, and then we are meant to just carry on positively and, like you said, find your purpose. And in due time,
Hmm.
so long you keep stick to the same faith, that purpose will come to you, and you'll eventually know what your purpose is. And from there on, if whether it's helping people, whether it's like helping the environment or whatnot, like everyone has a purpose. Just know that purpose is whatever purpose it is, it's to benefit the human race, is to benefit the environment, it's to just benefit your soul for peace purposes. And yes, we all
Mhm.
have a lot of things that we still struggle as far as addiction goes, but in due time and with the proper implementations, we can definitely accomplish that. I mean, let's say it like this. If any of us can do it, anyone else out there is capable of doing, you know,
Listen, I will say this in regard. You brought up a good point. Um, Addiction is especially in the stronger sense, like drugs, gambling, sex, whatever. These are all serious addictions, and people don't know how serious it actually is until the chips are down, pun intended.
very
Um, but yeah, and the thing about addiction is that in my personal opinion, because I've seen it proven anywhere, addiction is a curable disease, but there's only one guaranteed cure for addiction, and that is through faith and faith alone. Because I'm telling you, if you don't bring that addiction to Christ, if you don't bring that addiction to God, I'm telling you, it will haunt you for the rest of your life. I know this because I've seen it. I've known it because it was close to me, because, my significant other turned out to have an addiction. And one of the things that one of my very close family friends, who's also is that, Ed, you are not the Holy Spirit. You cannot save them. The only saving grace that she has with her addictions in this very moment is if she brings that up to God. That's it. And sure, through perseverance, a lot of people can overcome their addictions. But I'll tell you what, it's 50 times harder. It's 50 times harder. So bring that addiction to Jesus, bring that addiction to God, and you will see him start to change your life. And this is actually something we talked about today in today's sermon. It's restoration of the soul. Literally. City Light Vegas on YouTube. Look it up. Restoration of your soul begins through a pattern and a path that drives alongside Christ. We all have patterns. We wake up every day the same. We, go to work at the same time. We have to have a pattern with Christ, with God, in order for us to work through these problems in our life, these addictions in our life. So if you do have an addiction, I do want to say that, like, there is a cure for you. And if there is a cure, I will recommend, I'm not a doctor, but if there is a cure that will for certain cure you of that unfortunate disease, it is through church and the community in that church. And I promise you that you will be cured from your disease. I promise you.
Chip. I would like to say thank you very much for sharing your story that honestly not a lot of people have the courage to, tell these types of stories. And it's
The
good.
honor's all mine, man. I'm glad you had me on. The honor.
Hey, I appreciate you for taking the time out to, be on my comeback episode of Uncensored BS. And
For sure.
I really wish you the best in life and continue to, practice and grow within your faith and continue fulfilling your purpose in this life that we're living in. Ladies and gentlemen, I really do hope
Hmm.
that this story has inspired or touched anyone that's listening to this that needed to hear this, because besides the mental health part, like, faith matters. In order to have good mental health, you need to have faith. So, um,
Absolutely.
I
And if
don't,
and if no one knows where to go, I'll tell you where to go. You can go follow at City Light Vegas on Instagram. Go to their YouTube channel, or if you're in Georgia or Atlanta, there's a great church called 2819, Pastor Philip Mitchell. He's an amazing pastor, great church. You could be internet disciple there at 2819. You could be internet disciple at my church, City Light Vegas. Our doors on the internet are always open to anyone who wants to receive the message. I know City Light is live every Sunday at 10 a.m. Western time. So that's 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't know what 2819 schedule is, but I do know that I listen to a lot of the sermons from Pastor Philip Mitchell. He has a whole series on the book of Matthew. Highly recommend anybody who's looking for just a little bit of that Jesus juice. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit of that sprinkle. If there's any place to start, you could start at City Light Vegas. It's only 30 minutes per sermon. Or if you really just want to dive in, because Pastor Philip Mitchell is he's a lot less forgiving and a little less funny. I'm going to be straight up. So he's a little bit of a harder pill to swallow than my pastor. My pastor's a little bit, he's a little bit more fun. But, I genuinely recommend either or, both churches are great. Please, like, if you feel inclined to visit those churches online, or find a local congregation near you, and I promise you it'll change your life.
Well, with that being said, thank you very much, Chip, for coming on to this.
Absolutely. You have a great night, sir. I know it's late over there.
Hey, no, it's pretty late here, but hey, it's whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, but ladies and gentlemen, this is Zodiac, GataMeLiga. This your boy Farquad. Thank you for tuning in to Uncensored BS, and we will see you guys out. We're signing out.